Today, I want to talk to you about how my clients have gotten 25 job offers in the last 5 weeks. I was getting ready this week to come in back after the holidays and start to share these stories that have just been amazing. And I just realized, oh my gosh, my clients are amazing. We're seeing these incredible results, and I needed to come out and really share that with you. And I really want to talk to you about the strategy that my clients are putting into play now to get 25 job offers. So it's been wildly successful. People are getting multiple opportunities. They're averaging in 2018 more than $38,000 an increase in salary. And on average, they do it in 9 weeks. So I just wanted to come live and tell you guys about that, and also 5 things that these folks are doing right now to actually change that for them. So 5 weeks, 25 job offers, absolutely incredible. And that's averaging, considering when we have days off each week, that's about 1+ job offers per day. So wherever you are kind of in your job search, I want you to pay attention here, because this process, you really have to know some of the things that you're going to be, I'm going to be sharing with you in order to absolutely change and transform your job search and start to achieve your ultimate goal. So let me kind of back up a little bit. So first, hi, I'm Lindsay. I'm the founder of Talent Paradigm and the Love What You Do Accelerator program, for how we completely transform your job search in just 5 weeks. We are starting with your resume, working through your interview and salary negotiation. And what I do in this process, I teach you about how to maximize your job search, how to overcome the barriers that happen in job searching, because I spent 18 years in talent acquisition getting up to this point. And at my last count, which was I think 1,023, I feel like I might be off on that number. That's how many careers we have worked with in the time that I formed Talent Paradigm. So really, this process is based on 8 milestones. And these 8 milestones are absolutely critical. You have to be able to maximize your approach for each of these, because when you go out and start job searching without a plan, without a strategy, have you ever heard the saying, a failure to plan is planning to fail? If you do that, which is how most people do, you're going to spend 25.1 weeks on average job searching, and most people are going to get exactly what they did in the last job. And that's where we get into this process where we keep getting opportunities, and we don't stretch ourselves to be able to create our maximum contribution. Because really, truthfully, the thing that makes the most difference for us in our occupation, which is work you do, paid or unpaid, any work that you do, that is the single greatest indicator of well-being in our lives. This is not done by me. This is done by Gallup. And that's the single bucket that'll impact all of the other parts of well-being. So it's hard to have monetary well-being when your occupational well-being is suffering. It's hard to have a good community well-being, being a good part of your community, contributing to that, when you don't have the means emotionally or monetarily to contribute. This is really important. So this process is all about transforming that, because I want you to achieve higher. I want you to stop thinking that you have to target exactly what you've done in the past, or that what you've done in the past is exactly what you'll do in the future. I want you to leverage this process so that you can really harness your superpowers, so you can truly harness those. And that's how we get to the point of people getting these huge numbers and getting to their dream job. It's because there is a systematic approach, a strategy in this. So the 8 milestones include your mindset, because you have to have that together. Honestly, you have to have that first, which is what I'm kind of sharing with you now. Like, I want you to just believe that there is lots and lots of opportunity. We call this career design. You can absolutely design your career. You can absolutely design it. It's just that you must be willing to embrace that fact, and you have to have a strategy behind it. So how do you do that? Well, that's one thing we focus on. You also need to understand how to write a resume. You need to know how to make sure your LinkedIn profile, which is your new resume, you need to make sure that that absolutely is on point. And then you have to build your brand, your personal brand. If you don't do this, you can't network to your next opportunity. You have to have the brand, and it goes hand in hand with the next thing, which is your networking piece. Once you understand these pieces, you have to be willing to sell what you do. Selling is a key part of any life skill. Like, it's the single greatest life skill, in my opinion, because if you aren't willing to sell, nobody's willing to buy. So you are a product. And in this case, we are making sure that the sales pitch is how we get people in and how we start to leverage that next job opportunity. It's by understanding how to market yourself, because marketing is selling. If you're not familiar, that's the same thing. So we're marketing. What are you marketing? Well, you really need to understand your message. So personal branding is critical. And so that branding piece turns right into your elevator pitch. Your elevator pitch is the single critical interaction point in this process. So you have to have that down. From there, you have to ace the interview. And believe it or not, that's actually not based on your qualifications. There's a lot of other psychology happening in play. How do you maximize that, though? That's what we teach you. And then how do we get this huge number? Well, you have to know how to play the game that's like chess, that is salary negotiation. And so as long as you can do each of these steps, and I always say do 80%, because if you can do 80%, you're going to seriously maximize your return. I mean, it's incredible. So we work with people who are absolutely willing to put in the work to achieve that. So once they believe that they can achieve more, they believe that they want and deserve the opportunity to make a difference in this world, and they're willing to invest in themselves the time and the resources to do those things. So this process is a blueprint of how to get you there. It's actually research backed now. We've had proof of concept, and I want to share with you today what are these people, what do they have in common? 25 job offers in the last 5 weeks it's actually an inverse correlation between what the job market is doing and what our offers are doing. They're opposite. And it's because we found a way to beat the system that is job searching, which has actually been set up for you to fail. You are going to have a 2% success rate on average when you traditionally job search, which is why we do this now. So now that we can share these stories, this is what I truly want you to do. Change everything for yourself. I've spent 6 months completely immersed in this process. We've created this proprietary blueprint for our research-backed, proven job search system. And this is how our clients are doing, what are they implementing to change everything when it comes to their job search. So instead of every day going into work, selling off your soul a piece at a time to just get by, you change that. Because those people feel like as they stay in the same place in their role, they're stagnating. Their career is eating them alive, where you dread going into work. And I want you to know that it doesn't have to be a reality, because I believe that you were meant to do something more. I believe that you were meant to make a difference, and that is what you should be doing. And it's not just, I don't think it's just a nice to have. I think it's a necessity. I think it's a necessity for people to have that opportunity. So in fact, this week, my most recent job offer just came in from a client with a total value of over $375,000. So I want you to, first off, that may be really, really far in the distance for people. But what I'm trying to show you is that I want you to open your mind that there is a lot of potential out there. But until you really know how to do this, you won't be able to tap into some of those things. You just won't, because you haven't been able to be exposed to it. So there's going to be parts of the way you're going to be like, oh, I'm not sure about that. I'm going to tell you it works. I'm going to tell you I spent 18 years doing this. I have hired 10,000 people. I've looked at 1 million resumes. When I think about it, actually, over the course of my time, like we're talking about 100,000 interviews that I've done. So it's insane. It's insane. So let me share my experience with you so you know what you need to do in order to transform it. So that offer came to us after spending 3 months in this process. She also had another offer, which was a third of that. This is how different the things can be, because really what people really want is the opportunity to make the most meaningful contribution, to do meaningful work. Single greatest indicator of someone's success in life, how we intrinsically measure it inside of ourselves, is whether or not we get to make a meaningful contribution. So I want you to be able to do that. Your ultimate goal in your job search should be more than just to find another job, another paycheck. You should want to be able to do more. You should be able to use the things that you were given, your gifts and innate abilities, be able to leverage those, be able to harness them and make them a really valuable contribution to a business. So before we dive in to the content today, I'm going to share with you 5 things that my clients are doing to create these 6-figure offers with an average of $38,000 more in 9 weeks. So I want to tell you, what are they exactly doing and what does it take to get there? So the first thing here is that this does not come easy. It does not come by osmosis. This is not something where you just show up and it happens. It takes effort. It takes time to get every piece of this puzzle totally optimized for your job search. So we start small. We start by getting first, the foundational work, which is a lot of mindset and understanding how you beat this system, because there's a lot of noise out there. And we have all of these things happening where we're making and compounding a problem with technology. We have people can apply at one button, which means the more applications you are, there's still just one recruiter behind the scenes. We've just made it a lot easier to make her life a lot more difficult, her or him. So I want you to understand the basics and the foundation so you know the playing field. You know what you're coming up against. Because the more time you spend actually in the foundation, you spend less time going out and not seeing success. So it's really critical. I want you to get more results, more interviews, and get multiple job offers. But you do that one step at a time. It's kind of like eating an elephant, one piece at a time. So I want you to know that kind of before I get into these 5 things, I'm going to be doing a training next week. We're going to be hosting a private training, and I'm going to get into more detail, much deeper on these 5 things. So that if people are interested in working with us to land their 6-figure dream job, work with us and our team, how we get your resume ready, how we help you with your LinkedIn, how to understand how to maximize those networking opportunities, how to craft an effective marketing message for you, how to build that personal brand so that people start approaching you. Believe it or not, that's what most of my people have these opportunities come to them, is when they start to understand how to market and how to build their brand, they start magnetizing opportunities to them. How to craft your elevator pitch, because you've got this 30 seconds. It's a critical interaction point where you must do the right things. Literally, you just need to be good for that 30 to 90 seconds. If you can do that, it'll change every interaction from there. And then how you ace the interview, all the way through the point of actually getting the best job offer you've ever gotten. So if you are listening and you have been job searching without a lot of success, I want you to know that you do deserve more and you are capable of doing that. And we've done that with a lot of our clients, as in 25 of them in the last 5 weeks. So we can definitely help you wherever you are at. So we're going to be hosting this private training next week, next Wednesday, for those that are interested in working with me. So if you are interested in doing that, you just go to the link in the the description that's here attached to the video, and apply. And that's how you get your invite. If we feel like you're a good fit for this program, we think that you are the ideal match, then we'll invite you to that training. I'll be very clear. We are very selective about who we choose to work with, because my job is not about getting the most found people in this. My job is what I look at as the finish line, which is how many job offers. We call those our graduates. So when they graduate our program, which is not when they're done with the training, it's when they actually get the result. That's how we measure our success. So we don't care about the top end, where how many people come in our business. We care about the finish line. And that's what you should care about too, is if you're willing to put in the work and the effort to achieve the dream job status, I want you to be able to do that. So go ahead, fill out that application, and you'll find the link there in the description. So I would love to be able to share more with you then on that training about that. And please let me know if you have any questions. Go ahead and just comment on here if you have any questions. So we have been working on this year on this job search blueprint, and we've just seen an explosion. Again, I told you about the inverse kind of correlation between the amount of opportunities and the amount of actual job offers. And when we unveiled this model, it just completely blew me away with the stories of success that we are seeing from our clients. In fact, I think I got this week 7 different Merry Christmas messages from my clients who are graduates, and they're just so beyond thankful for what they've been able to achieve. And that's what I want for you too. So I'm going to share with you some of the things that are happening. So let me just share my screen here. All right. So I'm going to share a little bit about Christine, and I'm sorry if it looks like I'm looking all over. I have multiple screens, so different pieces. Over here is kind of the piece. Well, Christine shared that she got a web delivery manager supporting a major pharma company, and she was able to negotiate a $22,000 base increase. Started on the 26th, and recruiters are still calling her every day. So, and the other part that she said is, I don't plan to give up. I don't plan to stop, realizing that this is an investment in my brand. And that's really critical. Realize that this whole piece will change your career forever. And she's really seeing that piece here. Or Erin, who actually was looking for a job for 16 months and she got the job offer she had always wanted. She had always wanted. And that's where, like, sometimes we go through this piece where we really struggle, kind of in the process, really struggle with getting our minds around that we can do more, because you have not been successful in job searching, or you may have been unemployed for months, whatever reason you were let go. Sometimes that becomes part of our identity, and we think that this is this huge thing, and it's really not. I promise you that you can overcome that, and we really truly teach you how to leverage that. So Erin is a perfect story about that. Or Greg, who said, at the tail end of working with me, I can tell you that I was feeling incredibly lost in just 4 weeks. I've gotten multiple interviews. Or let's see here. Hey, Larry. So Larry was an amazing story. Larry, he felt like he had age bias against him. He had applied for more than 500 opportunities, and he was really frustrated. And at one point I said, Larry, you gotta trust the process. You absolutely must believe that this will work, and you need to do it step by step. And he said, is finally, from crickets, he was starting to get 1 to 2 job offers a day. And his elevator pitch is what he said really changed most of it for him. He could recite it by hand. So 1 to 2 interview opportunities a day. At the end of this process, he ended up having 4 job offers, and he landed at Hewlett-Packard as a director. Or Jessie, her story is really incredible. She has a sick family member at home, and she's really worried about her ability to provide for her family. And she had a job that she loved. She loved it, actually, but she was really chronically underpaid. And some of you may be in that. And so she knew she needed to do something more. And so over this process, we worked step by step through each piece. And finally, she said, my little miracle worker, here's something to brighten your day. I followed your instructions on how to update my resume, your plan on how to network, how to present yourself, and basically how to be a better me. And I got an interview at a school today. That was her dream. She wanted to work in a school setting. And I got offered a job today, and I am making 50% more per year in operations in a school, which is exactly what she wanted. She got her dream job, and she got a 50% increase. Or Wanda came to me, and she wasn't actually targeting a 6-figure job. She had a specific kind of role. And she said, I'm really excited. And I got a 20% increase. She got relocated from where she was at over to the beaches of San Diego. She got to achieve her dream, and she got a 33% increase. Or Addie, who is a recruiter, a recruiting manager, in fact. Actually, the majority of the people that I work with one-on-one are in HR, because believe it or not, they struggle too. So she said, this is a tough process, and I came through because I help you get out of your comfort zone, really building genuine relationships, understanding how to build your brand. She not only did she got $5,000 more in salary, she also got to design the job that she had. She got to choose the job title, and a company sought her out. They sought her out when they saw what she could do. And I just want to kind of say, like, the stuff that I share with you is so beyond what most people are teaching. We can get into these depths, and you can understand what these critical intervention points are. Intervention meaning you make a change, and that'll change, kind of like unlock the key to the rest of the pieces. That's how you get momentum and how you start to get multiple offers. Or Dane, who said, just finally made it to the next round of interviews. I really want a VP of the Americas and Caribbean. Or this one from Zara. This is one of my favorite stories to share. So I verbally accepted the first offer on the phone this morning. So also, actually, she said, and I'm going to read it, it's amazing. I wasn't able to find a job. She had spent months. And now this, I'm damned either way, because she had multiple opportunities. Then she said, okay, great. The dream job, she had 2 opportunities. The dream job was there, and it's a yes, and it's a 10% higher than the other job offer. And it's officially the highest salary I've ever had. Benefits are superior, and decided or got notification that my background check are clear, and the start date was October 15th. So these things are incredibly powerful. So I'm going to kind of walk you through these are real results from our clients, real actual testimonials of what they are seeing. So what did these people do to achieve these results? That's what I want to be talking through today. And it's all based on actual people. These are their comments, what they've shared. So if you have any questions, go ahead and comment, whether you're live now or on the replay. And I always come back and just look and see what people are commenting or asking. So And if you were interested in working with us after seeing what some of these results are, whether you're in the very beginning stage, starting to think, hey, new year, new me, and you want to start really thinking about what you deserve now, or if you're towards the end and you're coming up to the interview stage and you're falling flat, you're coming in second or third, we can help you get to that dream opportunity. We can help you do it. And on average, again, 38,000, 9 weeks. So if you're ready to love what you do, head into work every day, excited, energized, motivated to make your best contribution and find it through a system that actually works, then you should apply to be in my training next week. I'm going to be doing a deep dive training into this, and it's really incredibly exciting. So let's talk about what my clients are doing to get those kinds of results. So this live stream is a little bit likely of a reality check. And honestly, that's kind of my job, is to be transparent on what reality looks like, what it takes to get there, because honestly, it's not easy. There is a lot of stress and strife in this process, and job searching depression, like that's a real thing, because we identify who we are by our work. You don't go to a dinner party and they're like, what are your hobbies? They say, what do you do for work? That's part of our identity. So I want you to know that you can make that identity exactly as you wish. You can achieve your ultimate goal, and you can get multiple job offers from dream companies, but it takes work, okay? It takes work, and a lot of work. It takes strategy. And I want you to know, like in this process, you don't kind of get to skip the line. I'm going to give you the fast track, but you still have to put in the work. And so that's a key indicator for my people, is that they're willing to put in the effort. So the first thing that in this process, so 5 things that my clients are doing, is that they put a ton of hard work up front. They put in a ton of hard work up front. All of these things have to happen before you achieve the end result. So I have an example, someone who was in my program just recently graduated, and she had been unemployed, I think, for 16 months. And I just got her message last week, and she said, I'm getting $30,000 more. She's getting to relocate to a location that she really wanted to be. But let me tell you, a month ago, she said, I'm really frustrated. I'm seeing all these success stories. What do I need to do? And I was like, you need to show up. You need to show up. And she had already put in a lot of work, but you have to continue to show up. You have to be willing to put in that work in the beginning, and you're not going to feel a lot of clarity in this process. Clarity is incredibly important. It doesn't happen until you take action, because we do a thing where we just start noodling on things. We can do it for years. In fact, a lot of people who come to me, they've been following me for years before they think about making a job change. So I want you to know that in your mind, I want you to get out of that, and I want you to start taking action. So the work is what happens. Everyone that you saw on those slides has gone through this process. So that's the first thing you need to know. They have to put in the work up front. You're going to have to figure out what your message really entails. I'm going to be here for this process, but it doesn't work in a vacuum. You have to go out and test it. You have to be willing to go out and validate it against the marketplace. That means using it and putting it into practice. And that's how we see it. We tweak it, right? We tweak where you're at and try to change it, because you can shoot for the moon, but if you're off by 10%, you're going to miss an entire planetary body. We want you to get on target. So we course correct as we go along this process. So you've got to put in the work, absolutely. The second thing, they shifted their mindset, okay? Here's what you need to let go of. It is fear. It is scarcity. Because in this process, I can tell you that the people who are getting these job offers in any organization, that are getting these incredible opportunities, and they seem like they are no more qualified than anyone else, that's reality, actually. They aren't. What they have done a better job is all of these other steps along the way. They can design the opportunity that they want. They can leverage this process because they actually did the work. So I want you to realize that whatever you're aspiring to, it won't feel achievable until you start to see these milestones of success. But I want you to know, like, I've done this now with over 1,000 people. I absolutely know that you can do more, but you've got to believe it. So this getting into your mindset, like, I want you to recognize that there is not a lot of difference between the people who are out there getting the job offers and people who aren't, except that they're willing to sell their skills. So if you understand that, then you become what we call a purple squirrel in the industry. You become the sought after prize, in this process. You become this really thing that people really want. And guess what? Human nature really truly is all about you putting in the effort to get something that you want to achieve. The same thing happens when you become the thing that they want to have on board. You become that thing. People will do whatever it takes to get you on board. And this is why people create jobs. They take jobs that have never been published, or they up-level a job that's existing. They give people more money. I had a client just this last week, turned down the offer twice, finally came back, and she got $35,000 more. So you can do this once you become you have a higher power position, and that's leveraged this entire process. So, but you must be willing to let go of fear and realize, and you have to, if you are totally in a place where I don't believe that, this is not a program for you. If you believe, hey, I really think that I am capable of doing more, and I see that there's nothing really different than me than these other people that are having success, it's your mindset and your strategy. So that's truly the second thing, okay? Now, the third thing, I feel like I'm revealing all this time. Number 3, they kept it simple. So there are so many things. You can have these incredible, crazy strategies. People have you go through some of the craziest hoops in this industry. Truthfully, I want to take what your skills are now. I want to give you what we call the minimal viable dose, minimal viable effectiveness, meaning we put in the 80%, the 20% effort to get 80% of the results. So I want you to pull the biggest lever for the biggest result, right? We create leverage in this process. So guess what? Your resume is just one small tool in this process. Your elevator pitch, way, way more important. But how many people do you see out there go, hey, you should really be focused on your elevator pitch? That's not what they're really talking about. They're talking about how you create this resume and how you jazzercise it. I'm going to throw that. I was really like jazz it up. But how do you put all these like sparkly graphs and things on there? And guess what? All of these things are just shiny object syndrome. That's really what really focused on. So when we get you onto the path, I know 8 milestones sounds like a lot. People love to complicate this and make it like 30 steps along the way. And it's really 8 things that you have to master. And it's built foundation by foundation by foundation. So step by step, how do you build a pyramid, right? Block by block by block. So people just tend to overcomplicate things. And these jazzy resumes or these crazy portfolio sites, I can't even tell you all the things that people are out there doing. You don't have to do that. You certainly don't. You have to have a resume that delivers. And I'm going to be actually really clear here. Simplicity wins every time. Simplicity wins always. When you look back at anything and you're like, wow, that's a really hot mess, but at the time it seemed really cool, it's because we overcomplicated it. And you can usually get down to one core thing. So our one core thing is how to market yourself. That is what we teach you in each of these steps, 8 milestones. Okay. Now, the fourth thing, number 4, is that they had realistic expectations and were pleasantly surprised. So when you come into this and you think, you know what, I am a specialist, so I don't oversee a team, but I want to be the CEO, not achievable, okay? We need to understand where you're at. Now, here's the thing. People get 50% increases. That happens all the time here in my role. So I'm not focused at all on your job title. So I feel like I should also put that on. I'm not focused at all on your job title. I care about 3 things when it comes to finding your dream job. The first one is the right company. The second is the right job. Notice I did not say job title. And the third thing is the right salary. That's our trifecta of identifying a dream job. 3 legs of a stool. So when I say having realistic expectations, like you can't shortcut this process. You have to put in the work, okay? It doesn't happen by osmosis. You have to show up. You have to be willing to do the work. And that's how you get to see results. And then when you see the actual results, you're going to be like, holy shit. I'm going to just say it. Holy shit. I can't believe I did that. I had no idea. I had a guy, Jace, and he was at his career and he was sitting here at a company. And while he had loved this company, he realized like what he was capable of was here, or in that company, he was here. What he was truly capable of was way up here. And so we kind of swung for the fences, right? We swung for the fences. And guess what? Everywhere he's like, wow, I don't know about this. I don't know about this. I don't know about this. And he's like, whoa, $60,000 more in salary. $60,000 more. And those things are absolutely achievable, but you have to come in with a realistic expectation of what it is that you want to do. How do we leverage that through your strengths and start to identify the right opportunities and the right companies? So That's the fourth thing, is that they really come to this. I did not expect this to work so well. I want you to come out and be like blown away. That's really, really it. So healthy expectation is important. In fact, most of the time when people are coming to the table, they usually believe, I'm not sure if I believe that I'm capable of doing this. So that comes back again to the first thing, which is their mindset. But really, like, instead of the shiny object syndrome and comparing yourself to everyone else, we're going to measure about your success and your belief and the things that you need to take on this path to getting towards success. All right. So number 5, the last thing my clients are doing is that they trust the process and they do what I say. I'm going to say it again because this is critical. They trust the process and they do what I say. So if there's one theme in here, people will go and be like, whoa, again, realistic expectation. I had no idea how powerful this was. If you listen to Larry, remember 1 to 2 interview opportunities a day, and he got had 4 job opportunities, landed at Hewlett Packard at the end in director level role. And the one thing I had to say was, Larry, trust the process. And now he says, I am your best testimonial. I will be out there shouting your praises from the rooftop, because he had a lot of things going against him. He had so many different biases that he was going into play. He also had never not been working in his career. But once he finally figured out that you had to follow the steps, there is a reason and an order of why we've done this, that becomes incredibly powerful, becomes the supercharger for you. And so again, we're pulling the biggest lever. What is it that we can get the 80% result with 20% of the effort? Because most of job searching, it's very tactical. Fill out an application, send it in, 2% success. I might make it to the final interview stage. Not even that you'll get the job. That's most of the time what we're doing. This changes everything. So if this is your goal, ultimately, to achieve that ideal career, to finally change things coming into this year, like, what is it that you want to change in your life to believe that you are capable of achieving more? Because there's a spirit of renewal when we come into the new year. There's this spirit that we believe that a lot of things are possible. And if that's you, if you're thinking, you know what, this makes sense. This makes sense to me about what I really need to do in order to achieve my dream job. If that makes sense to you, then I encourage you to apply. So we're going to be doing a private training for anyone who wants to work with us, and it's going to be happening next week. So look for the link. Just click, fill out the application, spend some time, because we accept less than 5% of people who actually apply to work with us. So my goal ultimately is to find the right people, get them to result the fastest, get them across the finish line, because that's how I measure my success in my business, my team, and move forward for you to change your life. And this is the critical intervention point. So the training next week is going to be incredibly in depth of talking about what happens in job searching and what you really need to leverage and why these 5 things are so critical. So wherever you're joining me out today or in the replay, go ahead and ask your questions. I want to share with you just a few more things here. Let's see here. Okay. So another story was from Montera, and she said, I want to let you know that I officially accepted a new role that exceeds my expectations in every category. Total compensation, over 35% increase, pushing me over $200,000. Company culture, team boss, new title, and scope of work. She joined as a vice president of digital marketing. And then I want you to listen from Maria. And Maria went to Apple. And her story, I'm going to let her tell you about it, because she is a perfect example of someone who went through this entire process. She never even applied. She didn't even give them her resume until the background check. When I say people are overcomplicating things, no joke. So let's hear from her.
Maria, congratulations. First off, I'm super excited about your offer. Apple, that's so exciting. Thank you so much.
You know what, folks? I realized that I think I've shared without the sound, so I'm going to try that again. Let's see here. There we go. Okay.
Thank you for all of your help and support.
Well, it's my pleasure, and this is why I do what I do. So when I get those calls, and I know we've been texting back and forth about your offer and waiting anxiously when it came in, this is why I do what I do. It makes me so excited. So beyond thrilled for you.
Thank
So
you.
I wanted to ask a couple questions a little bit. So can you tell me a little bit why you chose to work with me and to work at Talent Paradigm?
Oh, sure. I actually had been following you for some time on LinkedIn. And as I was taking my time off, trying to figure out what I was going to do, there were a few people that I was looking to potentially get engaged with, but just your personality just comes through so, your heart and soul you put into what you're doing with your clients, and it really comes through. And so when I originally reached out, it was definitely because I knew that you were the kind of person that I wanted to work with. It was a time when I knew that I was really ready to get serious, and I needed a little help getting organized. And so it was just serendipitous timing when you offered this opportunity. And so I, of course, threw my hat in the ring. And what it really did was help get me structured. It's a fast sprint, but if you're in it to do the work, you definitely are going to come out of it in a much better scenario, much more prepared to begin conversations, with your dream employer. For me, it was like the entire process was actually really helpful, even from starting back in the beginning of doing the resume, because when you're going through job search mode, you don't really realize how much of your personal story you need to be prepared to talk about. And if it's not something that you've been recently sort of kicking up in your head, it takes a minute, and you want to be able to very organically have a conversation flow. So it started in the process with let's make sure that you walk through the resume and you know exactly all the stories that you can tell for each of these parts of your career. And even through the 3 or 4 conversations that I had with companies, each one of them did the resume walkthrough. And although I had it in front of me, you don't want to stumble, right? So that was actually really great for me to be prepared. And, just to be perfectly honest with you, it gave such self-confidence when I saw my completed resume. You do a lot of great things in your career, and I'm actually not really good about talking about myself. And so when I got that document, I was like, wow, this is really impressive, and I can definitely crush this. So that part of it just set the tone for me. And then really just getting organized about how I was going to do my outreach, and having that plan really helped me to formulate my story. But I also was so prepared for the behavioral questions that came up in the process. And as you warned me, each interaction is an interview. And even the ones that I thought might just be a casual, quick conversation, they were very, very formal, and that was kind of surprising. So because I had done the work, and because I was so prepared, everything just came naturally to me, and it really set my candidacy apart from the others. And I got great feedback from the hiring manager and the recruiting team because of that. So I think just being organized and you putting the steps together for me helped me to win this. I've been telling people, because obviously, I've been sending you referrals and stuff, and just talking about, my experience with you. And the way that I've been describing it to people is it's like taking a master class in job search. Because you are not only, your years of expertise prior to Talent Paradigm, but because you're trying to stay current on all the new technologies. I mean, there were so many things that I learned in, from JobScan to TalentWorks, all the different things that are, coming up, everything in technology that's there to help you. But I feel like I have a master's now in job search. So people are coming to me, my friends are coming to me going, so what did you do? And how did you do this? And so it really was a great experience.
If you have a game plan, then that we know that number, based on how many outreaches you do, that number almost always guarantees success. That single push, if you do that, complete that, people will get results.
You have to come into this knowing that your job is finding a job, and it's going to take a little bit of work on your part. So know that you have to be committed to the process, and that the process does in fact work. So be committed, come with your A game, come with positivity, come with a growth mindset, and be willing to do the work.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about your experience prior to coming to Talent Paradigm. You actually had a chance to work with another coach?
I did, yes. And she's somebody that I had known in the industry for a while, and she came highly recommended. And frankly, it wasn't a good cultural fit. And, you hear a lot about that in job search, with the company. And for me, this relationship that I had was a little bit difficult. And it's almost the like when you watch, the TV show The Biggest Loser, and there's different types of coaches and different types of motivation factors for different people. And this one was like a Jillian Michaels, and I really was looking for like a Bob Harper. And I just needed the love and support and encouragement, because it's a difficult journey when you're going through job search, and we all have our little moments. Even I had one or two where you had to cheerlead me a little bit, but the style approach was such a great fit for who I am as a professional, and it's really what I needed at that moment in my career.
So what do you think, if you could encapsulate my kind of coaching style, what do you think that maybe 3 adjectives about it would be?
Well, I would say comes from the heart, right? Genuine, authentically want to help people, and that comes through in really everything that you do.
Maria, I love that testimonial, because Maria's story is just wonderful. In fact, she sent me so many people. It's really remarkable. So if you are interested in working together, I encourage you to head here to apply. You can go to bit.ly/love what you do accelerator. So bit.ly/love what you do accelerator. You can also just click the link or the button. And whether you're joining me today or joining me on the replay, go ahead, feel free to ask your questions. Apply to come. The training is totally free. It's just for people who are going to be a good fit for this kind of potential program. Going to be happening next Wednesday. So if you really want to truly kind of kick off the new year, new you, new job, and more money than you knew that you could achieve, I encourage you to apply and join me next week. So thanks so much for your time today, and we'll see you soon.